Duke Godricson chuckled at Alexander's words. He stroked his own beard for a long moment, then smiled lightly and addressed the room. Perhaps Alexander is correct. I think it's time I met this Nathan Hayfield boy in person. Immediately, everyone was shocked by the Duke's words. Their eyes widened as each of them attempted to protest the outlandish plan. Never before had the Duke sought to confront one of his adversaries head-on in such a way.
What? Father, please, you can't be serious.
They're right, grandfather. This matter need not concern you personally. The head elder stood up again as he made his own objection known. Your Grace, please reconsider. This boy is nearly the son of a noble vassal. You need not grant him the honor of your presence. Why not send Sir Kyle or one of your kinsmen out on your behalf? The second elder nodded profusely and also stood. Yes, if this gets out that you went to see him personally, would that not reflect poorly on our house and raise House Hayfield's own reputation? Nonsense, boys. It's best if I see him myself. Then I can choose whether to crush him or befriend him in person. Besides, I'm getting tired of hearing his name spoken in my halls. I wish to put a face to that name and stretch my legs a little bit, so you've all made it clear that you won't let me get my beauty sleep any time soon. When Roderick and Bella realized that the Duke was going to handle the issue himself, they both locked eyes and smiled at one another. They knew that if he went in person, the Duke could most likely handle Nathan all on his own. Then Bella would be free to marry Sir Ian, and Roderick would have his revenge. After a few moments, Sir Kyle nodded at Duke Godricson. Very well, then, my lord. See him and make your own decisions as you wish. If you find him to be a threat, it is best if you handle him directly anyways. That way, none of our warriors need to perish for no reason. Duke Godricson smiled at the split reactions in the room. He couldn't help but chuckle at the head elder's reluctant expression. Both stewards are in support of my decision, yet both elders are opposed to it. Why is that, I wonder? Do you not wish for me to teach this boy a lesson? What better way is there for me to do that than to teach him myself? The head elder merely bowed his head. You've made your decision, my lord. I may disagree, but it is up to your grace to decide the fate of our house. You are the master of the fiefdom, after all. Precisely. I am indeed the master of this fiefdom, and as such, I intend on getting to the bottom of this matter, once and for all. Bella Godricson grinned widely at her father as her thoughts went to her wedding day with Sir Ian, and some tentative plans to punish Lady Amelia for stealing away her man. Great decision, father. I have no doubt you'll teach him how to respect his betters. Despite the Duke's plan to simply confront Nathan, Bella was already convinced that he would inevitably end up slaying Nathan, and thus ensure the Lightstones would not think to abandon their promise to wed Sir Ian to her. Duke Godricson smiled at the room as he turned back to Sir Kyle. Sir Kyle, have my squire bring my sword and armor. It's been far too long since I've last gotten a chance to wear it. Yes, at once, my lord. A few minutes later, Duke Godricson's armor shone in the moonlight as he climbed out of a window and leaped onto the roof of his keep. Beneath him, the noise from the banquet wafted up as it continued on long into the night. Duke Godricson took a deep breath and then blocked out all nearby noises as he activated his spiritual energy and searched the entire city for Nathan Hayfield's presence. After a moment, the Duke grinned and leaped off of the roof. The Duke dropped hundreds of feet from the top of his keep and landed on a nearby tiled rooftop. He swiftly raced across the top of his city without making a sound. He was, by far, the strongest spiritual warrior in Godric's so it took very little time for him to pinpoint Nathan's exact location. The Duke landed on the ground outside of a commoner's tavern and quickly went inside. It was late at night, so the only folk still at the bar were drunkards out of their senses and a few poor souls who'd fallen asleep beside the counter. The Duke frowned. Now that he had come close to where he'd sensed Nathan, his spiritual energy could no longer direct him toward him. It was as if Nathan's own spiritual energy were interfering with his, and so he could only continue to scan the bar with his eyes. Nathan sat at the very end of the bar alone and sipped on a cheap pint of ale. Without turning his back to face him, he knew immediately who it was that had entered the tavern.
Duke Godricson? Is that you there? Have you come to join me for a pint?
The Duke smirked at the cocky youth's smugness. He silently joined Nathan at the bar and sat beside him.
So you're Nathan Hayfield, right? The Nathan Hayfield?
Nathan swiveled in his chair. His dark eyes looked deeply into Duke Godricson's own. The Duke knew immediately that this boy did not fear him whatsoever.
That's right. I've been waiting for you now, for quite a while.
Duke Godricson stared back at Nathan while they sat at the dingy bar. His eyes narrowed at Nathan's refusal to lower his head or look away.
This kid is really something. To look me in the eyes without flinching isn't something just anybody can do. On top of this, as soon as I arrived, he blocked my spiritual sense effectively, which can only mean one thing. He is indeed a master-level spiritual warrior already.
Duke Godricson looked Nathan up and down, then chuckled lightly.
You've been waiting for me? Seriously? How did you know I'd come to find you myself?
Nathan shrugged casually as he finished his pint of light ale and sighed. It was bound to happen sooner or later. You and I have a lot to talk about. Duke Godricson looked around the room. Although the tavern was mostly dead, and they were the only sober patrons in the place, he couldn't help but gaze around the room to make sure they weren't being watched.
Go ahead then, lad. Start talking.
Nathan smiled as he stood up and suddenly leaped up out of a nearby window.
Not here. First, you'll have to follow me.
His words drifted back down to the Duke, who laughed loudly as he also stood and leaped up after him.
Interesting.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.